How's it going, beautiful world? I'm Justin Garcia, and this is A Better Place. I decided to sit down for this because, well, the story is going to get a little long. So I advise you to find a comfortable place, maybe get some popcorn because it's going to get heavy. I'm going to tell you a story on some of the events where the nexus of my drug use really took off. Now, I'm not going to give you the whole life story because that would just take too long. And I want to get to the end where I give you a speech about how the pain in our life built adversity and makes us strong, gives us wisdom, and how sometimes we feel abandoned in life, but we're not. How there's nobody with more immeasurable strength than us, and how God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. And that's the speech I want to give you. But first, I want to give you a story about where my drug use really took off. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I have 4 children. My mother is a drug addict. Now, I had lost my kids, or my mom had. Let me go ahead. Let me start from the beginning of my drug use. Now, I've been getting fucked up since I was 10, drinking, smoking weed, all that stuff. Never did anything hard like meth or heroin. I was just more of a party addict, drug addict. Now I'm living with my mom at the time, taking care of my kids by myself because my baby mom had pretty much walked out, chosen drugs and prostitution over being with the kids. So I'm raising 4 kids by myself. Now, my mom asked me to sign the kids over to her. I said no. She wanted more money out of alimony from my stepdad and wanted more money on her social security check, but I said no. Now, I don't know if she planned all this stuff out, but if she did, she's a fucking mastermind. Now, I have a bad back, and at this time I was working construction as a pipe layer. If anybody knows, it's a lot of shovel work, a lot of back-breaking work, and I'd be in a lot of pain. And one day she comes home, she says, "Hey, you want a pain pill?" I say, "Sure, of course." I don't feel high because I'm in a lot of pain, actually. And she started giving me a pain pill every day after work, And then from there, she starts giving me a pain pill in the morning. Now, before I had pain, she said, "Oh, take one for the morning." And the pain pill she was giving me, she's not giving me little Vicodins. She gave me 30 milligram oxycodone, excuse me. And so I take one in the morning. I go to my job site, and by the time I get there, I am fucking high. I am spinning. I am flying, pedal to the metal, and I am zooming. And so, obviously me being a drug addict since I was 10, liking to get fucked up, I like it. And so she's doing this. She's giving me one in the morning, one in the afternoon, probably for about a month. And then she gets to the point where on the weekends, she'll break out a couple lines, crush them up, and sniff them, say, "Hey, you want to try this?" I'm like, "Sure, it's my mom, why not?" And so I developed an opioid addiction. And then one day she cuts me off from the opioids, and I'm waking up and I'm sick, I'm shaking, and I'm spasming. I've never felt like this my entire life. Never. I've never even heard of being dope sick or what pill sick even is. Excuse me. My mom's like, I'm telling my mom, "Oh, I'm really sick. I think you need to take me to the hospital." Like, I'm fucked up. And she's like, "Oh no, you're just pill sick." I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" And she's like, "You just need a pill." And she gives me one, and I fucking sniff it, and instantly I feel better. I'm like, "Wow, that's crazy." I'm like, "What is this?" She's like, "Oh yeah, you developed a dependency on them." I'm like, "Oh, well, gee, thanks a lot." And so she goes the next, and she cuts me off from it, and she doesn't give me any, and I'm getting sick again, and I'm like, "Mom, give me a pill, please." And she's like, "I'll give you a pill if you sign the kids over to me." Pulled out the paperwork and the pen and everything. At this point, I'm like, "Oh my God, this has been your plan the whole time." I say, "Fuck you," and I quit pills. I cut cold turkey, and it was the hardest fucking time of my life. Now, those of you who beat addiction before, even when you get through the physical aspects of it, you're no longer going through acute withdrawal where you're having physical bodily symptoms, your mind still craves the drug. And she would sit there and count out hundreds and thousands of pills. She'd have like 4, 5, 10 fucking scripts at a time, all 15 milligram and 30 milligram oxycodone. She was counting them out, trying to count her money or whatever, because she sold them and flipped them. Now, so watching that, it would gnaw at my head, like, "Ooh, you want a pill? Ooh, you want a pill?" And of course, I did not want a pill. So the only thing that would curb that craving is if I got drunk. And I'm talking, I got drunk. I started drinking. I got just like a fifth a day. At this time, we've been doing this for a couple of months, and I started a different job with my best friend named HB or Derek, doing like working on air conditioning and blowing insulation and running new duct lines, stuff like that. So we're doing that, and one day we finish a house. Finish early, and then when you're a single father, you work full time. There's no such thing as a day off. You don't get no days off. I mean, like, you leave work, go home, and now I'm cooking dinner, helping daughter learn homework, and then after that, brushing all their little teeth and giving them showers, putting pajamas on them, checking them in, And I love this. Like, this was what I lived for. Doing it for so long by yourself, it gets a little hard, but you realize it's what you live for. So, one day we finish a house early on a Tuesday, and then our boss gives us Wednesday off. So I'm like, cool, I'm gonna take the day. I took the kids to daycare, I took myself to the movies, I got drunk, obviously, because I was drinking at the time. At 6 o'clock, I went and got the kids from daycare, took them home, and me and my mother get in this argument because I decided to go get drunk that day instead of, hang out with the kids. She started calling me names. She leaves. I end up getting angry. The kids are asleep by this time. I end up breaking a chair. I get afraid. I hide the chair. She finds the chair. She's like, "I'm going to call the cops." I'm like, "No, you're not. Fuck you. You're not going to call the cops." I go upstairs to go to sleep. And the window has a view of down the street. And sure enough, I see rolling down the street a cop car. So I panic. I leave. I go to my friend's house, who is my foreman and my ride to work. And I get up the next day and I call my mother. I said, "Hey, obviously it's not working. Me living there, can the kids stay with you for a few days? Just 3 days, because this is all on Thursday and on Wednesday." And I said, "Hey, on Friday I'm going to get myself an apartment. Can you hold the kids for a while?" She's like, "Yeah, that's fine." Cool. I get the apartment. I come back to pick the kids up. She says I can't take that I cannot take them, that she has guardianship over them. I say that's impossible because I have full custody through the state and joint custody, and you can't take them. And she's like, "Okay, well, I take them anyways." And this is on this Friday. I have to spend the weekend with them. I work things out with my boss so that I can, go to work a little later. And Monday night, after I pick them up from daycare, the cops come to my house. And they take the kids, and I'm asking why. I'm livid. I'm ready on the verge about to, fight these cops. And like, "Sir, you need to calm down. Go to the family court office and see what happened." I do that. Come to find out that my mom filed for emergency guardianship on Thursday, the day after I left, saying that she doesn't know where I'm at, where I've been, hadn't seen me in a year, so they give her guardianship. I go and I talk to them and said, "Hey, this is obviously bullshit." They're like, "We know this happens all the time. Fill out this paperwork, talk to a judge, and you'll get your the guardianship will be vacated." So I do that. I said, "Okay, let's go talk to that judge." And that's when they tell me that it's going to take 30 to 90 days for me to actually see the judge. So I'm like, what happens in the meantime? Oh, unfortunately, the guardianship is going to stand. So I'm going, and it took my case exactly 90 days. So I go 90 days without seeing my kids. And this is during the holidays. And nobody in my family, like, says anything. Like, nobody comes and checks up on it. Like, "Hey, what's going on with the kids? How come your mom's with them? How come she's saying all this shit?" Like, and I felt like betrayed by them. I felt, betrayed by my mom. I felt betrayed by my grandparents. I felt betrayed by my family because none of them came to help me out or question like what the fuck's going on. They all believed her, but in retrospect, my mom is an excellent con artist, so it's kind of her gift. So I don't really blame anybody. And all the things that happened to this point, I'm glad they happened because it made me who I am today. Now, before the court date to vacate the guardianship actually happens, exactly 1 week before this date, my mom gets them taken away from CPS, and I'm thinking, oh great, they're gonna come back to me. But apparently that's not the case because there's still an open case saying that I abandoned them. So that case needed to play out first before I can get them back. So now they're looking for temporary placement. I give them to my dad, my stepdad, and he helps me out. I'm thinking, okay, my family abandoned me, my fucking grandparents fucking turned it back on me, my mom betrayed me to my kids, all for so she can get more money on her social security check. So I'm thinking, I got my stepdad left, who's not my blood, but he raised me as his son. So I think this guy's gonna help me out here, and he does at first. I go spend the weekend with my kids. He comes and picks me up, all that stuff, because I don't have a car. He lives in Mesa, which is like far, very far, like 30-minute drive. And slowly, he starts to pull away a little bit with the help. He says, you need to find your own way out here, which is difficult. So I do that anyways. And then we get into an argument on my daughter's birthday because I bought her punching focus mitts and punching boxing gloves because she'd been training MMA since she was 4. I started when I was 6, so it's something we bond with. So we're running hand drills or running focus mitt drills, and or my dad says, "Oh, I don't want you teaching them that. Here, take the fucking gloves back. She can't have these." And I'm like, that's bullshit. And we get into an argument. I end up leaving, and she's all like, and they're like, "Oh, if you don't like the way we raise the kids, and you can go and see them at the CPS office." I said, "Well, maybe that's a good idea." So I call my caseworker to see what it would take to get a parent aid so that I can visit them somewhere else. And he doesn't answer. I go over his head to his supervisor. Then my caseworker gets upset and forwards all these letters and these progress reports or whatever they're called because his girlfriend got certified the state to be the one who fills out the reports of how the visits go, and she's filling out these fucked up reports saying that I don't spend any time with the kids, that I'm mean to them, that I spend all my time on my phone, that I'm argumentative, that all this false shit, making up all these stories. And I'm thinking, why is she doing this? Come to find out that she gets certified with the state to be a foster care parent, and if she gets full custody of the kids, she's gonna get. Now I don't know if she's doing it for money or because she wants to have a family with my dad and kick all the rest of us out. I'm not sure. Her motives are unknown to this day, but that's what happens. So I put in for a parent aid, and I go another 3 months without seeing my kids. Now during this time was when I fall into a depression, and I seek out my baby's mother, who was at the time prostituting and being a drug addict, and I go see her because I miss my family, so I spend time with her because she's part of my family. And I start using, and I finally the guardianship finally goes through, and I get a parent. I mean the parent aid thing finally goes through, and I get a parent aid, and I'm able to have visits. Now I don't go to the visits high, and I go to all the classes and all that stuff. But for the life of me, I cannot pass a fucking drug test because I'm a drug addict. I can't stop using. At this time, I'm on heroin. I take the classes. I don't miss a fucking visit. Got all that going for me, but I don't go to the drug test because I know I'm gonna fail. And at this time, also a case from 2014 of a possession that got vacated, possession of marijuana case, gets brought back up, and now all of a sudden also I have to go away and do a year. So I'm dealing with this court with addiction, and I'm dealing with this family case, and now I'm dealing with this legal case that wants to send me away from a year, and the pressure gets like overwhelming, and I started to kick back a little bit and try to get clean. Now there's a lot more that goes on in here, like a lot more, but I'm going to try and make this quick so I can get to that speech about being chosen. Basically, I go to jail. They sever my rights while I'm locked up, and that fucks me up. I talked to my attorney. I said, "Hey, is there anything I can do?" I said, "No, sir. Once your rights have been severed, the only way," they filed an appeal. Appeal was denied. And so the only way that you can see your kids again if the people that have them decide to let you see them again. And these are the people who fought tooth and nail to take them away from me. So I lose all purpose for living, basically. And when I get out, my addiction really, really takes off. I look for my mom again. My mom's living on the streets at this time. Doing heroin. And so I started doing heroin again. And from this point, I jump into the needle. Now I'm slamming heroin and meth. I'm just really, just no reason for living. Just lost, completely lost. Living on the streets, stealing, robbing shit, selling heroin, just enough heroin to buy more heroin and stay high. And it comes to a point where I overdose and I slip into this darkness where I feel everything's just okay. Excuse me, hold on. Sorry, I had to turn that off real quick. I slip into this darkness where I feel this serene bliss, it's all good. At that point, death becomes an answer to me, and I'm too afraid to actually kill myself. So I'm trying to overdose, and I overdose probably 2 or 3 more times. People keep reviving me. I keep coming back. At one point, I was dead for 30 minutes, and I'm being drug out into the street. People about to leave me. I went through some shit. So at one point, I overdose again, and I shit all over myself. So I wake up, I'm still really fucking high. I'm somebody comes and brings me boxers. I'm washing myself naked in a fucking, at a park in a fucking, what's it called? Give myself a little bird bath in the fucking drinking fountain. And all these kids are starting to show up for soccer practice. I'm oh my God. So I'm walking home, stumbling home, half covered in shit. And I fall asleep on somebody's truck. And I go to jail. And you would think at that point, you know what I mean? At that point, maybe it's time to quit. And I thought so. And they give me the outreach program, which is they give me 90 days in jail. And somewhere on the last 90 days, you get out a little early, but you have to spend 30 days in a rehab. In the last 30 days, you get a little early, but you have to spend that 30 days in a rehab. And I did that, did the rehab, and I was clean. I was out in the streets clean for probably about 2 months. My mom started to get clean. She saw me. She's like, "Oh, I want to get clean too. I want to go to do the methadone program." So I was helping her, walking her to the bus, to and from, getting her rides to the methadone clinic. And it turns out that we have the same probation officer. How crazy is that? And my probation officer tells me, "Oh, you can't hang out with her." And she gets the wind of that I'm hanging out with her and getting her to the methadone clinic. So she says, "Oh, if I fucking catch you guys together, I'm going to arrest both of you." My mom says, "Mom hears this." And I'm like, "Fuck that bitch. I'm going to fucking get my mom to the methadone clinic anyways." Mom's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to go to the methadone clinic. I got my own ride." It's like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm sure." She ends up taking the bus. And that night, she gets attacked. She gets jumped. She gets beaten, robbed, and raped. They stab her in the vagina with a knife and cut her open. And they leave her there to bleed to death. And at this time, I blame myself for that because I wasn't there to walk and protect her. She survived. From this point, my drug addict, and then I fucking hit the wall. And I'm fucking doing drugs again, slamming and trying to kill myself. And I end up fucking taking off to somewhere between Scottsdale and Mesa, being homeless in there, sleeping in a bush. It's crazy. And I get back and like I try to get back to this girl, and she's like, no. And so fuck, I try running into traffic, but everybody stops and doesn't run me over. So fucking, I'm like, oh my god, I can't die. And so I fucking go into Fry's and I cut my wrist twice. Boom. I have huge veins, you know, and so I cut my wrist twice. I don't know if you can probably see it. Right there, it was like bing, bing. I cut it once, I start bleeding. I'm like, that's not enough. So I cut it again, and I'm soaked in blood from my shirt all the way down my shoe, everything. And I'm walking, and I don't know if someone saw me and called the cops, but I'm going to look for a peaceful place to die. And I'm looking for, and I find this courtyard next to the Fry's on 43rd Avenue in Bethany. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna go lay in that courtyard, look at the trees, and this is where I'm gonna die. So I get there, and the cops are circling the apartments, and they hit me with a light, and one of them gets out, starts walking toward me, so I get up and start walking away. And they set it all up for they meet me around the corner, and he says, hey, I want you to come talk to me. And I take off. I was like, my heartbeat was feeling hard and slow, like boom, boom. Like, oh, this is it. I don't know. When the cops came, I got a fucking rush of adrenaline, but I started walking away, and then he started getting closer, so I took off, and I'm running. I'm full sprint, and when they hit me with a taser, and my face slides and hits the ground. That's where I got these scars right here from. And I go to jail, or the cop actually, no, he doesn't take me to jail. I say, I'm thinking I'm gonna have a warrant out for my arrest because I fucked off my probation. And the cop says, no, we're gonna take you to CBI so you can get some help. So I'm sitting there in the fucking hospital bed, and they have me. Oh, their orderlies are watching me because I'm on suicide watch. And the cops that come to take me to CBI run my background, like, oh, hey, well, you're not supposed to go to CBI. You have a warrant for your arrest. We're going to take you to jail. I'm like, fuck, I knew it. So here I am, fucking suicidal, withdrawing from heroin, again, in jail. Just fucking terribly fucking upset. I finally get through the acute withdrawal, and I'm sitting in jail, and the first plea comes from my second probation violation as they're gonna be 6 months with early release of Alpha, which is an in-house, like a inpatient treatment center inside the jail. And I've done it before. I've done this exact program before. They gave me a year with early release of Alpha, but it didn't work out, obviously. So I'm like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to live differently. That's why I decided to not get any more haircuts and go and start growing my hair out. This is my first start of my spiritual journey. Now, I decided to revoke my probation and go to prison for 2.5 years. Now, that's a big difference. 6 months to 2.5 years. So I made that decision, and I'm sitting in there on the prison yard. At about 6 months in, I'm thinking, man, I think I fucked up. I think I made a mistake. I could be home right now. And I do my best to stay clean in prison. Of course, it's very hard, especially when people give you drugs. You're literally roommating with hundreds of drug dealers. Like, hey man, they always wanted to give you free drugs, and then I was Mexica, and every time I put in work, every time respects get breaking down, I did, here, homie, this is for you. Here's a gram of fucking G. Here's a gram of black. Sell it, do it, whatever you want. Could I say, So that's all bad, I would get clean for a little bit, and then I'd relapse. I would get clean for a little bit, and then, my kid's birthday would come up, I'd relapse. I get clean for a little bit, and then, my grandma would pass away, and I'd relapse. So I get clean for a little bit, and it'd be my birthday. I'm like, fuck, I'm 30 years old, I'm in jail, like I'm still in prison, like this is not where I saw myself, so fuck it, I'm getting high. I just kept getting high, and at the time, I had a neighbor. Now, I used to sell dope all up and down my run to everybody. Now it's like everybody's getting clean, including my neighbor. And me and my neighbor are pretty close. I lived in cubicles, so like only a little pony wall, 3-foot pony wall separated me and my neighbor. And so we got close, we talked all the time. He kind of went through the same thing with his baby mom being a drug addict and all that stuff. So we connected on that level. And he started getting clean. I'm like, hey man, how do you do it? He said, bro, I go to fucking NA every day. I'm like, fuck that. I ain't going to no NA. That's stupid. I can do this. And I'm gonna get clean right now. And I sat that cake back and I was watching TV, and the homie who pushed a lot of weight comes through with a bunch of crumbs. He says, hey man, and you want the rest of this black right here? I'm like, yeah, sure, fuck it right now. And I got high again. And just that day, I told myself, I'm gonna get high, I could do it without an A. And I woke up and I was in tears nearly. I'm like, you know what? I'll fucking go to NA. If that's what it takes. If I don't want to live like this no more. So I went to NA. And at that particular time, they were going around saying things that they were thankful for. You get 2 things that you appreciate, that you're thankful for right now. And at the time, I couldn't think of anything. I thought about the only 2 things I could think of were I was thankful for my neighbor for having the care to bring me to this NA, and I was thankful for my TA, who, because at that particular exact day, I graduated my HVAC class and got my EPA certification, and I had a TA that helped us out a lot. At that particular moment, that TA and my neighbor both sat on this side of me, and it was like a sign. And when I went to come say it, I couldn't even say it. I just cried. And everyone hugged me, and it was like a fucking spiritual experience. Meanwhile, homie, we're in prison, and fools are tatted down and like big as fuck and working out every day. You know, I got a reputation in the yard for fucking fools up, and I'm saying we're all hugging each other and crying. Like, it was a moving experience. And I knew that this was where I was supposed to be in life. So I started working the program. You know, I started my 12 steps, never finished them, still trying to finish them. But I stay clean to this day. And life still happens. Shitty things still happen in life. Like, you know, I'm getting clean. I get out. I get a girlfriend. That girlfriend ended up, you know, I relapse. I go to a rehab where I met this guy named Justin Benjamin, who kind of pushes me on this path to really help people. You know, at the time I'm just, you know, doing air conditioning, making money, and I'm doing everything right. Drugs hit the rehab pod I was in, and then the rehab pod is called MRC, and it's basically a rehab done by prison. I mean, you're in prison cells. You're doing count time at prison, eating prison food. It's pretty much prison, except you get to wear your own clothes. So drugs hit the pod, and I don't use, and I'm thinking that I should tell everyone not to use either, but I decide not to say anything. And the next day, everyone gets drug tested, and I can't pee. Like, literally, like, I had to pee, but I couldn't pee. It was like an act of God saying, homie, you're not going to pee today. And they started, me and a bunch of other people, started the whole program over for us. It was a 21-day program. This was the 20th day for me. I was supposed to leave tomorrow, the next day. And they restarted me another 21 days. So I ended up doing the program for 41 days. At the end of my program, and I'm trying to figure out why it's not doing this, why I try to look at the answer and the lesson and everything. Like I pray and meditate every day. I'm thinking, like, why am I still here? Like, I'm doing everything right, aren't I? And drugs hit the pot again. Something's telling me, don't be a coward this time. Go in there and tell them something. And I'm on everybody's helmet. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Who got the drug? Like, oh no, we can't tell you that. I take my fucking shirt off. I'm like, homie, I got a fucking wire on. Am I wearing a badge? Am I a fucking cop? No, homie, I'm not trying to fucking get you in trouble. I'm trying to save your life. I got fools to fucking give me their drugs, admit they're fucking using to themselves. I'm like, hey, that's all it takes. So I love you. And at that particular moment, I found my calling in life. I found what I was here for. I figured out why I was going through all this shit that I've been through in life. All these terrible things. They were getting me ready. They were giving me accreditation and validation so that I can connect to you who are going through things in life. Now, you see, in life, there are those of us who are sheep and those of us who are wolf dogs, okay? Now, when you're in a constant battle, a constant uphill battle, and you feel like you're fighting all the time, it's because you are. You are in a battle. Because you're a warrior. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. Now, at this particular time, or at any time you feel like you can't win this battle, I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. You are wrong. You can win this battle. Matter of fact, you are the only person on God's green earth who can win this battle. That's why he has chosen you to fight it. You see, he has chosen you to be great. See, greatness is not something people is born with. Greatness is earned through blood, sweat, and tears. Greatness is spawned through persevering adversity. God must choose, nay, he must bless you with a path of darkness. You must walk through this path of darkness and choose to rise to its greatness. Now, there are times where you feel like you've been beaten, you've been knocked down, you're lost. Well, I'm here to tell you, when you feel like you're lost, when you feel like you can't win, I want you to put your hand right here on your chest. I want you to feel the rise and fall because you're still breathing. I want you to feel your heart beat because it's still pumping. And as long as there's breath in your body and blood running through your veins, you got life in you, you have not lost yet. You may have lost this battle, but you have not lost the war. Get up and fight. The only reason you got knocked down is because you started believing in lies and darkness, and that darkness grabbed a hold of you. And I'm telling you right now, stop believing in that. Because you are great. You are capable of great things. Get up. You see, nobody can beat you. Nobody can beat you but you. Now, there are forces in this world that will get you to believe all the lies and to get you to believe that you ain't shit. You ain't ever gonna be shit. You can't win. Lay down. Stop fighting. I'm here to tell you that's a fucking lie. Stop believing in that and start believing in light and truth. I don't know what God you pray to, but pray to him. Because he has your back. Okay? God has not left you. God has not abandoned you. God has chosen you. Chosen you to be one of his sheepdog. To protect his flock. Because lay ahead a valley of darkness. And in that valley there be wolves. And he did not send his lambs to the slaughter to walk through that valley alone. No, he wants to send you, his sheepdog, first. Now, you may have gotten lost along the way. Started running with wolves. Started believing their lies. Thinking, I'm a wolf too. I'm also a criminal, a drug addict. I'm also a fuck up. I can't get shit right. I'm here to tell you that that's fucking bullshit. To get up and find the way out of that darkness. Now, when you do, congratulations. You now have the path out of the darkness. But your journey is not over. Because God gave you that path out of the darkness for a reason. He gave you the strength to fight that fight. To beat those wolves. To get through the darkness. To give you the roadmap out of the dark. So that you can go back and grab as many sheep as you can. And guide them through the darkness as well. Because that's your calling in life. You have been chosen. You have been chosen to walk a path of greatness. You are a warrior. So if anything I have said hits home for you, if you're going through some struggles, if you're going through some shit, I want you to feel blessed, because that's exactly what you are, is blessed. You are a chosen warrior. Get up. Fight. You got life in you. God has not left you. God has not abandoned you. God has chosen you. Know that I love you, and I am here to guide you. And you have walked through fire and come out the other side refined, shining gold to be a beacon of light. Now come and join me in this crusade against darkness. I love you.